Hi, this is Paul. I want to give you a little bit of a video that I posted on Vander. Now, some of you might not know about the Vander channel. It only has about 800 subscribers. It's a channel, for a long time I was wondering what I was going to do with a clips channel. And people wanted me to do clips channel because I was doing extraordinarily long 2 or 3 hour videos. And they said, oh, we should have like 5-minute, 10-minute clips, etc., etc. I never wanted to do my own clips channel, partly because I wanted to let the audience decide what was worthy of a clip. Now, this has been going on for a long time, and eventually I just decided I was going to use my clips channel to take mostly clips of other people's stuff and just place it in an easy place for me to find. This is sort of the inheritance of leadingchurch.com, which was my blog for years, which is mostly just kind of a file cabinet of things that I find interesting, things that I find noteworthy, things that I want to find again in a searchable format. And so I just use a simple WordPress blog to keep all of those odds and ends, and that's leadingchurch.com. And you can find lots of stuff, old stuff from me on there back to 2007, things I've written. Really, Rough Draft for Sunday used to be on the blog until I started the YouTube thing in a more meaningful way after Jordan Peterson. And so you can find all sorts of basically sermon outlines and rough drafts and meanderings on leadingchurch.com. Anyway, I use Vanderclips to grab content that I want to pay attention to or that's important. And so you'll find a hodgepodge of things on vanderclips.com. The channel isn't monetized. My thinking at this point is that I'll not monetize it because it's just clips of other people's things that I want to be able to find easily and sometimes use in my own videos. And so I made a clip from this Sunday's Grizz Sunday service. And I posted it on Twitter with the following tweet. The portion of this show after Jacob joins is must-see TV. Grizz has an excellent hand on what the Fringe is for and why, if you have no Fringe access in your consciousness Congress, you're going to be assimilated. There's a lot in that tweet for me, and a lot in that tweet. I'm still trying to get this studio sort of dialed in with movable stuff and movable desk and movable chair and everything movable, which I like. It means that it isn't all just set perfectly. I regularly get messages from people. Don't pay any attention to Jacob. Don't pay any attention to Grim. Jacob is dangerous. Grim is dangerous. Even though in a very deeply ironic way, it's Jacob's desire to establish a center establishment organization, which I think is a fundamental misunderstanding of what this little corner is, because corner is, in many respects, away from the center. Jacob and Grizz are really awesome examples of what Peugeot talks about when he talks about the center and the fringe. And one of the huge things I learned from Jonathan Peugeot was the difference between the center and the fringe. And, I had never known why they had gargoyles on cathedrals. And in my trip to Europe recently, when I got to see not sort of American copies, but actual European cathedrals complete with statuary and gargoyles, it's like, yeah, this makes sense. You're creating the cosmos in this building, which of course is the legacy from the temple in Jerusalem and the tabernacle, which was sort of a micro model of the cosmos through which we do what we need to do. In some ways, Jordan Peterson's Clean Your Room was an element of that microcosm of the cosmos. Your room is a little bit of the cosmos, and if you can order that little room, maybe your own life will be ordered, and maybe if you do that well enough, you will be invited to go out and help order common space or the marketplace or a bigger community around you. It's really terrific and great advice. But now, and I know Grim won't take any offense at this. Jacob, I think we have a solid enough friendship. We text, we have each other's. I have two text numbers, and Jacob has the most personal one. So Jacob and Grimm are at this place fringe characters in terms of the broader cultural conversation. Jacob, I just noted, is back on Twitter. Jacob is on Twitter with his real name, but an American flag bandana covering his face. Jacob, if that's not fringe, I don't know what it is. And in reply to my tweet, he said, "You could have tagged me, Paul. Well, now that my Twitter is no longer suspended." And my reply to him, I really wasn't sure what account was yours. He used to sort of have the lobster thing on for his account on Twitter. I've got to be very careful. You're not a cybernetic organism sent here from the future to infiltrate and destroy this little corner as we try to impose a strict, covert, hierarchical structure to prevent the coming apocalypse. And if you've listened to some of these videos, you know exactly to what I'm referring. So the fringe is really a vital element of an ecosystem. The fringe is a vital element of a healthy community because you need people that are sort of dangerous and don't sort of follow the spec, and they're actually terribly important because they can say things and do things that people in the center can't say and do, and that's their role. And again, this was one of the huge learnings I got from Jonathan Peugeot on this count. So Jacob and Grizz are fringe characters, but what they're doing, and again, as I told to Jacob and as he notes to Grizz in this thing, Grizz, I think, has an amazing handle on what Set, which some of you know, Set is Grim Grizz's word for the god of television, how Set has infiltrated the culture and what it has done to us. And Grizz is just in many ways, a memetic genius. When you listen to the metaphors that he sort of puts out there in terms of the amazing way to categorize things very quickly. For example, Jacob's channel he calls Jacob's Ladder, or the Jacob's Trinity Broadcast Network effort to have a 24-hour channel dedicated to this little corner. That will always be a fringe thing. And if you've ever come into any of the Just Chatting or a bunch of those types of things, yeah, they're fringe, and they're going to stay fringe. That's sort of their function in the ecosystem. Now, Grizz has a real handle on the distortions of this, and I plan, after Jacob leaves the mainstream that Grizz had for a couple of hours, Grizz has now learned to go a couple of hours. When he first started this, he'd only go a half hour, and then he had to go get a smoke break, basically. But now he's got little ways that he can, using Stream Deck, that he can insert things and sort of keep the stream going. And then his conversation with Chad after Jacob was one of, I think, the best things I've heard on the internet in a while. And I'm going to take some clips from that and probably do a little commentary after I put those clips together. So, yeah, I'm going to just simply append the Vander clips segment after this little introduction because it's really helpful to understand what's going on and to understand how these friends, these budding relationships, this network, this sort of anti-assimilation. Why would I use that word? I've talked quite a bit about collective relevance realization in the last few months. We outsource a lot of our relevance realization to people in our world. Before we had all of these screens, even before we had books to a degree, everything would be outsourced mostly in face-to-face conversations, maybe via some structures like the tribe and then the king and then the empire. But now, with books, you then had the beginning of collective relevance realization via written text. And then with newspapers, that accelerated. And with telegraph, that accelerated. And then with radio and television, it really came into its own. And now with the internet, we're doing our collective relevance realization through many, many different kinds of people so that we can sort of up-level in our niches the kind of cognition that we have to do to adapt to this internet world. And we're doing that all the time. And people are doing that all the time. And now, instead of everybody sort of doing it through Walter Cronkite and Tom Brokaw, you've got 5 people doing it through Grizz and 50 people doing it Paul Vander and maybe 100,000. Now, these are, of course, are just small percentages of the overall, let's say, subscribers to a YouTube channel. Because if you run a YouTube channel, you know that the subscriber the subscriber number means relatively little. It might mean something in terms of money, but it means relatively little. It has a lot to do with how tightly people are doing their relevance realization through you. And actually the number of viewers on a live stream or the number of hits on a video will tell you more. But these numbers deceive. They don't really tell you the level of influence or a bunch of other things that we sort of desire. So I'm just going to append this video here and listen to it. I think it's a terrific conversation. And then if I have time today, there's so many projects I want to do. And some of the drama of this little corner has sort of taken a lot of my other video time. And yeah, so let me know what you think.
And speaking of confusion, we are joined today by the captain of the unnamed Jacob's Ladder Network. But that's called the StreamYards thing, so that's what I'm calling it. Welcome aboard, sir.
Hello, Grim.
How are you? What's going on? Welcome to Sunday service.
Thank you. I'm getting ready for church. So I don't know how to secure distributed cognition, but I know how to make it more secure.
Well, I would think personally, like the project I've been pushing for a while now, is through the Defense Against the Dark Arts curriculum. Well, we teach people like the ways propaganda is deployed and used against them. We'll make them more secure nodes, and that is the best way to secure cognition.
Okay, I am willing to run some streams called Secure the Dark Defense Against the Dark Arts or whatever you want to talk about the stuff because Paul Vander says he thinks you understand what's going on better than anybody. Yeah, I know.
Is that in a clip? Can I get that in a clip form? Anybody catch
that?
No,
it was in a private conversation. By the way, I also sent him the last time I was on your stream, and I suggested he run that on his channel.
Yeah. I think his audience is tired of looking in the corner, and I think a lot of Joey said it in one of his comments. I think it's like it happens around once every 6 months. We get a little self-reflective, and then go back to processing external shite.
So, I forget where Peterson said this, but he said, "Misery is thinking about yourself."
Yeah, depression is a self-hole, but you have to face your shadow and integrate it, and that's what the self-reflection nonsense is, I think.
Well, the fact that we realize we are in fact a group, that's the thing. Like, everybody's denying that we're one community, and it's like, you can deny it all you want, but we're a community, so give it up.
I don't know. Is everybody who goes to a flea market a community?
Yes.
Well, to that extent. If that's your basis for saying community, then sure.
I think anybody who truly recognizes their need to see someone else on a regular basis is part of a community.
Okay.
I would miss you, Grim, if I didn't see you.
Well, that's why I live stream. There's so many people in that same boat.
How many people are watching?
Oh, I get five today. But it's Sunday morning. People are going to church in the corner community. So
yeah, I'm actually going to church with Richard and somebody else from my Discord and apparently some other people from Biola University.
You're going to a church?
Yeah.
Wow. See, I would have thought you might have suckered Richard into going to some synagogue or something, but for you to actually step doors to a church.
Came to synagogue with me.
Ah, you made them go first. Okay.
I didn't make them go first. I invited them.
Same. So the Defense Against the Dark Arts thing is an actual curriculum. Like the way that Michael looks at that one guy and the way you look at Bernays, but in a way that we can show people like Richard and Aaron.
Right. The problem is I am not...
Everybody. In case if you don't know, anytime Jacob Federecci is on the stream of any stream, a drinking game immediately begins. And every time this man says, the problem is you are to take a drink.
I don't have a drink.
It's fine. You don't play the game. You got to say it. You are the game, sir. But
the problem is, that I don't actually believe. I think the dark arts are only practiced by some portion of the population, and I think burdening the general population with even considering the dark arts is not fruitful and might be counterproductive.
Well, no one on my channel is general population.
If you want me to run it on your channel, I can, but my channel is supposed to be more general population, I would hope.
The curriculum needs to be developed. I need it to be a thing that people do together. But the concept I'm pitching is we use Defense Against the Dark Arts because it's you memetically hijacked everybody who's ever read Harry Potter. But that's what happened is their school was so stupid corrupt, especially their Defense Against the Dark Arts class, that they had to find their own little room and start learning it themselves. And that's kind of what's happening here, at least what I'm trying to do in my part of the corner.
Taking that analogy further, I don't think you can distribute Defense of the Dark Arts as broadly as I think you would like to.
I'm looking for the others, and the others in the kindred will be able to understand and participate just fine. To the extent I help people that aren't in those categories feel less alone and part of something, hooray. But
okay.
So
what I have started saying is that psychotechnologies have been developed over the past 100 years to hack our secured cognition in such a way that most people are not aware of those psychotechnologies, and our distributed cognition has become obviously unworkable. Is that an understandable statement?
Yeah, but
what?
But what?
You want to know what those psychotechnologies are?
No, I want to teach people what those I want there to be I don't want people not to understand that there are being spells cast against them. I want people to know that they need saving throws for the mind control out there. And to those that want to specifically be able to protect their friends and family, they need to be able to recognize how this stuff is being used. So I don't know. It's my aim, sir.
If you have a plan, I'll support you. If you I'll
I
hey,
have plenty of plans. Would you like to discuss any of them in particular? You're welcome to ask me about any one of them.
which ones do you think I could help with?
Well, because of your expertise in Bernays and the PR firms and whatnot, I think like 30 to 40 minutes on that would be a video that I would add to a curriculum. I would consider the Defense Against the Dark Arts collaborative playlist. It's I liked that we did Estuary Camelot the other day. And
We did?
Yeah, here on this channel. It's a wonderful video. You should check it out. It even got a comment by John Vander.
Ooh.
And the thing is, we can play Camelot. I need to go through the stuff in the Loom room that people have put together and decide how and talk to them about how they want it to be displayed on the channel. I don't know if we're going to do some campfire show and tell thing. I like breaking it down to basics. Like, remember kindergarten show and tell? We're doing something like that. You like go through your YouTube watch history, find what you remember as being good, and bring me a clip. And you can talk about it if you want or not. And then the advanced Loom room shit is like people who see the memetics that like you can weave stuff together. You can distill 2 hours down into a 5-minute chunk for your friend, so he doesn't have to watch the whole thing.
Did I ever tell you my experience in third grade show and tell?
It doesn't matter if you did. I'm positive that I want to hear it.
So I went to a park with my parents, and there were tadpoles in the pond in the park, and I grabbed one and put it in a Tupperware and kept it as a pet, and took it to third grade for show and tell. And I was all proud of it. And the teacher at the end of it says, well, Jacob, or probably called me Behzad at the time, this was third grade, if a state park officer had seen you, why would he maybe have been unhappy with you? And I didn't quite understand, and then I understood that the teacher was saying we did something illegal, and this triggered my PTSD because we had left Iran when when the police arrested my father, and that was quite traumatic to me. I was only like 4 years old, and I went into full panic mode, and I ran out of the classroom and flushed the tadpole down the bathroom in the school bathroom, and I was sobbing uncontrollably. And now looking back at it, I kind of feel bad for that poor teacher, because like, how was he to know that like he would trigger my PTSD like that? But yeah, that was show and tell. I was in third grade.
It sounds like he was kind of a douche.
How did he know?
Did you know you did something illegal? I see you love that little tadpole, and then he makes you flush it down the toilet. Or
he didn't make me do it.
I know, but you
lost my mind. I was really scared that like they were going to come and arrest my dad.
So traumatized that you murdered your tadpole friend.
I did.
Well, I hope you can disassociate that traumatic memory and bring me clips of really good stuff you would like to share with the group, because to me, like, there's no one, like, we're in an ocean of information.
We are.
And Magic agrees, the teacher was a douche. And in order for us to process the signal from the noise, we have to do it together. And I don't know, because we're used to having that signal and noise separation done for us by what we now recognize as corrupt institutions.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, that's the thing. Drink. I think it's we have to rebuild institutions. We can't just. The only question is, how do we keep those institutions from becoming corrupt?
Have you ever heard of Buckminster Fuller?
Yes.
He says you don't defeat a thing by defeating the thing. You build something that renders it obsolete. There's a quote. It's not that, but it's the gist is you build something better.
I'm not a huge fan of that. I think I think hello.
Hi, I'm eating breakfast.
Well, thanks for coming on the stream for that. Let me know when you're done swallowing, Chad.
I think there is a I think that is optimal, and frankly, I am not a big fan of allowing the perfect to be the enemy of the good.
Where have I heard that recently? Have you been watching that Gavin Palmer fella, that hero LFG guy? He says that, I think.
Gavin and I, in many ways, are like brothers, spiritual brothers. I talk to him a lot, and he talks to me a lot, and I pay more attention to him than he realizes I pay attention to him. And he pays, Gavin is.
But back to your point. Yeah. Let's get back at the teacher by harvesting thousands of frog eggs and unleashing the spawn on his residence.
I'm pretty sure he's dead by now.
All right, so we have to do it at his. Where do you Jewish people bury yourselves?
I'm not sure he was Jewish. Yeah. But yes, cemeteries.
Mausoleums are a thing. I don't know who uses them. It's very confusing.
No, Jews haven't really used mausoleums much over the past so long.
There's some mukbang footage for you guys.
That looks good.
It is good. It's an egg and ham and hard salami sandwich on like honey 7-grain oat. Want a bite?
I pressed the wrong button. So, there.
Sandwich.
Yes, there's some mukbang footage. You couldn't eat that because of the ham, though, right? Or can you have the kosher?
I don't keep kosher.
What?
You didn't know that? We went to a not kosher restaurant together, Grin.
Yeah, but I wasn't paying attention. I was just making sure you didn't try to have sex with me.
Well,
whenever I go out in public, don't take it personal. Whenever I go out in public, I just try to be very careful people aren't trying to have sex with me because it's happened before.
I can tell.
It's very disturbing. Here's some branding. Remember, Embody, there is no agency. We want what's best for you.
Okay, in 6 minutes, I am going to leave for church. So
he's getting there, folks. He's powering through. He's powering through. Thanks, Chad. I'm not gonna have him chewing on. That's not. You can just get a flavor. Like if you're scintillated right now, you might be into mukbang. I'm sorry for letting you know.
Do you pay any attention to that tab that YouTube has on your channel, which lets you see what your viewers are searching for?
No.
So I had no idea what mukbang was, but apparently it's a highly used search term for people who subscribe
From
to
this
the channel.
corner? This people in this corner are into it? People that
People
watch
who
your
subscribe
channel.
to my channel apparently search for mukbang on a regular basis.
Wow.
Yeah. It's an interesting tab. Let me go see what's on my what's currently being searched for on my channel.
All right. Well, while you do that and Chad finishes eating, I'm gonna run the rest of this Patrice clip I wanted to.
Who's not as nice as the guy for Valentine's Day who brought them flowers and chocolate, and they don't know why they hate that dude.
Right.
They want to be with the guy that's home watching the game, and he goes, "Oh, baby, go out and do your thing. I'm not going out, but I want to go out with you." But the other guy that comes and he's like, "Well, I'm the guy who loves you." She don't know why she hates that dude.
Yeah.
But all we got to do is be honest and have a conversation about it, as opposed to, the mob telling you how to go against how you feel. That's what this world is right now. It's a bunch of people who want to legislate and control how you feel. Forget what you think and how you act. They don't even want you to feel anything no more. So that's why I'm like I am, man, because I don't like to be told what to do. And it ain't a
That was the part I wanted to. Hey, what? Okay, then you can come back. Did you find it?
There are 3 high search volume on YouTube for my viewers. 1, Victor Davis Hanson. 2, Orthodox Christianity. And 3, Genesis Audio Bible.
Well, I thought it was mukbang, and now it's the Bible.
Well, it changes on a regular basis.
Did you know that, like, up until last year, I didn't know that there was a difference between the Orthodoxy and Catholics as far as Christians went? I mean, I knew there was like 74 different species of Jew, but like the existence of the Orthodox was kind of under the radar for me. You ready, Chad? No, you're not ready.
Well, technically, the Catholics are Orthodox.
Technically. Like they still like the Pope? I thought they didn't like the Pope.
No, that has nothing to do with it. So I believe Orthodox Christianity includes any Christian, whatever you want to call it, which is a continuation of any of the patriarchates, which claim.
Can you say anything without it being more confusing?
What?
When you explain something, I get more confused.
Okay, so
my understanding of the Orthodoxy right now, is as follows: they've kept the church part the same as it was in at least the 300s. Like going to church there now is the same shtick you got back in the 300s.
No. So there are 5 patriarchs that supposedly their church was started by one of the apostles.
Oh, this is an apostolic succession argument.
Yes. So
what does that have to do with, like, there's no way to God but through Jesus, and he says to fast and pray? This is my problem with Christianity. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get him to play paintball.
As Christians, I don't know if you will, but I also haven't been able to get the Jews to exercise at all. So
Magic says hi, Chad. Do you see it when I put it on the screen like that?
Oh, I see it.
I'm gonna leave you soon.
God bless. Thanks for coming.
Hi, Jacob.
Hi.
I got that your 3rd grade story. I got you full screen if you want to clip it for your collection.
I've told that story before. I tell stories a lot. You might have noticed.